The movie tells the story of a young couple who move into a big, beautiful house in a small, quiet town. Matt was an artist and Kate was a translator, have quit their jobs and are looking for a fresh start. Today's movie is The Room, released in 2019. While exploring their new home, they discover a strange room with a unique key. When they open the room, the house lights flicker and the electricity goes out. Curious and concerned, when they call an electrician the next day. In the basement, Matt finds the entire space covered in electric wires, with a glowing wheel at its center that stays lit even when the house lights are off. The electrician finds this setup unusual and says he cannot help. As the electrician leaves, he tells Matt he is surprised they bought this house since it had been abandoned for a long time. He then shares past details that the couple who is residents there were murdered. This shocks Matt, who realizes they are living in a house with a dark past. He doesn't tell Kate but searches online and discovers that in 1975, a boy killed a couple living in the house. The motive for the murder remains unknown, and the boy was sent to a psychiatric hospital. That night, Matt was sitting alone in the strange room with a lamp and wishes for another drink. The lamp flickers, the lights go out briefly, and when they come back, he sees a drink in front of him identical to his own bottle. Matt suddenly got scared. He spends the night thinking the strange event. The next morning, Kate notices the house lights flickering and goes to the room to check on Matt. To her surprise, the room is filled with various objects, including paintings, clothes, and more. Matt then explains to Kate that the room can fulfill any wish and asks Kate to try, and she jokingly wishes for a good job. Matt explains to Kate that the room can only provide physical things, not jobs. He encourages her to wish for something, so she wishes for money. As the lights flicker, they find piles of money in the corner. At first, Kate feels uneasy about the room, but as Matt reassures her, they both become fascinated by its power. They start wishing for all kinds of luxuries, expensive drinks, diamonds, jewelry, dresses, and more, even throwing lavish parties. For days, they indulge in everything the room gives them, even building a wall of money from their wishes. However, over time, the excitement fades. Kate grows depressed and Matt suggests having a baby, but Kate refuses, still grieving the loss of 2 previous pregnancies. This leads to an argument, and Matt leaves the house to clear his mind. While alone, a desperate thought strikes Kate, and she uses the room to wish for a baby. To her amazement, the wish works, and she finds crying baby there. When Matt returns, he is shocked and furious. He tells Kate they were only supposed to wish for objects, not human beings, and worries about the consequences of her decision. Now they are unable to return the baby, overwhelmed with emotion. Determined to understand the room's origins, Matt digs deeper into the house's history and learns that the previous murderer, John, killed the residents because of this very room. Matt visits the psychiatric hospital to meet John, who immediately recognizes that Matt are living in the cursed house. John urgently warns Matt to leave the house before it's too late. When Matt returns home, he fills his car with gasoline, but discovers that his pocket money has turned to dust. This shocking moment reveals a dark truth about the room, that anything wished for will disappear if taken outside the house. Alarmed, Matt rushes back to investigate further. He searches the house but finds nothing unusual except for the endless electric wires running through every part of the home. Meanwhile, the baby starts crying uncontrollably. Kate takes the baby outside. As soon as they step out, the baby's cries grow louder and his appearance begins to change. Moments later, the crying stops and Kate screams, terrified. Matt rushes to bring them back inside, but he discovers that the baby has transformed into a 7 or 8-year-old child. They realize that living beings created by the room age rapidly when taken outside, eventually dying of old age within minutes. Kate named the baby Shane and keep the child inside the house. While Kate quickly grows attached to Shane, Matt struggles with the situation, and this leads to tension in their marriage. The couple begins to live in separate rooms as their arguments worsen. Kate devotes herself to Shane, treating him like her real son, while Matt becomes increasingly isolated, painting his room in black and white. Shane, though seemingly normal in behavior and appearance, and he is forbidden from leaving the house. One night, Shane stays awake due to Kate and Matt's argument and wanders around the house. While exploring, he reaches the basement with the electric wires and glowing wheel. Slowly, he begins to understand the truth about his existence and discovers his extraordinary powers. He also visits the mysterious room and learns that he was brought into the world through it. The next day, Shane uses his imagination to transform the room into a magical garden filled with trees, snow, and even a snowman. Kate, deeply attached to Shane, is happy and cares for him as her own son. However, Matt grows uneasy, fearing the limitless powers Shane seems to possess. Matt then receives a call from John at the psychiatric hospital. During the conversation, John reveals the truth behind his past actions. He explains that he killed the couple living in the house because they had wished for a child through the room, and the baby was John himself. The child, like Shane, aged rapidly and needed to go outside to live a normal life. But the room imposed a horrifying rule that the child must kill the person who wished for them. Driven by this curse, John had killed the woman who wished for him and her husband. Kate also listens to the call from another phone and learns the shocking truth. She furiously leaves the house in her car and drives aimlessly through the night, refusing to return home. Meanwhile, Shane asking for his mother. In a fit of anger, Matt finally tells Shane the harsh reality. He was created by the room, and if he steps outside, he will age within minutes and die. Matt, overwhelmed by emotions, drags Shane to the door, intending to push him out, but stops seeing him as just a child. Matt apologizes and tells Shane a story, trying to bond with him. This moment softens their relationship, and they begin to act like father and son. When Kate returns home at midnight, she is happy to see Matt and Shane together, thinking Matt has finally accepted the child. Later that night, Matt and Kate are alone in their room while Shane observes them from outside the door, feeling an attachment to Kate and fully understanding his origins. The next day, Shane steps outside and transformed into an 18-year-old young man. When he returns to the house, he attempts to shoot Matt. During the chaos, Kate gets injured and faints. When Kate regains consciousness, Matt tells her that Shane is dead, explaining that they fought and Shane did not survive. She was heartbroken, realizing she had only a few days with her child. Kate tells Matt she no longer wants to live in the house and wants to leave, but Matt refuses, claiming they have no money and that the house provides everything they need. Kate begins to notice a strange change in Matt's behavior. Suddenly, Kate realizes the horrifying truth. This isn't Matt, it's Shane, who has used his powers to transform into Matt. Shane, aware of his abilities and growing feelings for Kate, reshapes the mysterious room into a replica of their house. He then takes an unconscious Kate into the room. Meanwhile, the real Matt wakes up and searches the house for Kate and Shane. Finding the room locked, he breaks through a wall, discovering tangled electric wires. He pushes through them and reaches the other side, which looks identical to their house. Inside, Kate is confronted by two identical versions of Matt. Confused and frightened, she calls out for Shane. One of the Matts responds, revealing himself as Shane. Kate realizes the truth about Shane and the real Matt. In a desperate move, she manages to escape with Matt, but Shane's powers give him complete control over the house. He begins altering the entire structure, making it nearly impossible for them to find a way out. Matt and Kate run through the house trying to reach safety. Finally, they manage to cross the wall and return to the real house, but Shane follows them, determined not to let them go. Matt drags Shane out of the house, and Kate quickly shuts the door behind him. Forced to stay outside, Shane begins aging rapidly. Within moments, he transforms into an old man and eventually dies. Disturbed by the events and the loss of Shane, Kate and Matt decide to leave the house. They walk away from the place that brought them so much chaos, marking the end of their terrifying journey in house.